Hello. Good morning everybody. I am Dr. Rajnikant from Department of Physiology. I will teach about the physiology of exercise. In physiology of exercise, we are continuing with the physiology of exercise, the energy sources in the exercise. As already said you, muscle contraction requires lots of energy. The immediate source of the energy is ATP and the ultimate source is intermediary metabolism of the carbohydrate and the lipids. The sources are first is ATPs and is phosphocreatine, creatine or creatine phosphate, third is glycogen, fourth lactic acid, fifth is the fatty acids and triglycerides. The ATP, the hydrolysis of the ATP provides energy for the muscle contraction. ATP is stored in the muscles, initiates the contractile activity, but it consumed after few twitch of the muscle contraction. Just like it is immediate source of the energy, this ATP is only for the initiation of the exercise. Thus, there is need for the resynthesis of ATP. The resynthesis of ATP in the body occurs by three ways. As ATP is the immediate source of the energy, for continuing the exercise, the other source of energy is required. But either this is by the resynthesis of ATP or by the other mechanism. The resynthesis of the ATP occurs in the three ways: the phosphorylation of the ADP by the creatine phosphate, second by glycolysis, and other is oxidative metabolite. Second source of energy is phosphocreatine. Immediately after the depletion of the ATP store of the muscles, the ATP is regenerated using the energy released by the dephosphorylation of the creatine phosphate reserved in the muscle fiber. The equation explains it. The creatine phosphate combines with the ADP, it forms the creatine and the production of the ATP. The amount of the creatine phosphate is limited. Therefore, amount of the ATP formed by this mechanism is only sufficient for contraction of the muscles for few seconds. Third source of energy is glycogen. After depletion of the creatine phosphate reserve, the next source of the energy used to reconstitute both ATP and the phosphocreatine is glycogen. Glycogen, by the process of the glycolysis, produces 2 pyruvic acids, 2 ATPs and 4 hydrogen molecule, hydrogen ion. The fate of the pyruvic acid depends upon the availability of the oxygen. In the presence of the oxygen, it goes to Krebs cycles and therefore there is formation of 38 ATPs, and in absence of oxygen, the pyruvic acid is converted into lactic acid, which is released in the blood. That lactic acid is again taken by the kidney and the liver and converted to the glucose. This mechanism is known as polycycle. Polycycle occurs in the muscles, in which there is conversion of lactic acid to the reconversion. Lactic acid is converted into further glucose, and this converted glucose is released back to the circulation. Fifth is the fatty acids and the triglyceride. Combination of the oxygen with the various foodstuffs to liberate ATP is the final source of the energy during the muscle contraction. This source contributes more than 95% of the all energy used by the muscles during long-term contraction. Stored energy is derived from the triglyceride in the adipose tissue and the intramuscular storage of the fatty acids. Thus, the sum up is the overall sum up of the source of the energy. Immediate source of energy is ATP and the phosphocreatine. Next immediate source is glycogen, which are already stored in the muscles. Lactic acid released from the muscles also supply energy either by the process of the glycolysis or by the process of the lactic acid converted into glucose by the polycycles. In prolonged exercise, liver glycogen becomes the fuel source. When exercise reaches its steady state, the oxidation of the glucose released from the muscles and the liver glycogen account for about 50% of the energy supply, and rest is supplied by oxidation of the fatty acids. Applied things is that during intense but the short-term exercise, like 100-meter race in 10 seconds, the energy consumed is 85% of the energy consumed is anaerobic. In a moderate intense exercise, example like 3-kilometer race that takes about 16 minutes, the 20% of the energy consumed is anaerobic, and in mild intensity prolonged exercise, long distance race that takes about an hour, like marathon race, only 5% of the energy comes from the anaerobic metabolism. This is summary of. First is the summary was what are the type of sources, and second this slide shows that what type of the energy is used or part of the energy used by anaerobic metabolism. Now the next is oxygen consumption during the exercise. The energy for the muscular work during the exercise is provided by the increased fuel consumption. The increased fuel consumption is reflected by greater oxygen consumption and the greater CO2 production. The oxygen consumption during rest is about 250 ml per minute. The oxygen consumption increases linearly with the severity of the exercise up to certain limit, beyond which a plateau phase is reached. I will teach you in the next slide the grading of the exercise or the steps of the exercise, in which we will study the increase linearly with the severity of the exercise up to certain limit, beyond which a plateau phase is reached. The maximum oxygen consumption is the term used to define the level of the oxygen consumption beyond which no further increase in the oxygen consumptions occur with further increase in the severity of the exercise. Maximum oxygen consumption is a short note. Thus, the word VO2 max is the maximum oxygen consumption refers to the maximum oxygen that can be consumed by a person while performing severe exercise. The amount of maximum oxygen consumption in an adult is about 3 liters per minute, and in trained athletes it is of 5 liters per minute. The maximum oxygen consumption is an important physiological indicator of the individual's capacity to carry out aerobic exercise. It is a physiological marker, it is a physiological indicator that shows the individual's capacity to carry out aerobic exercise, as it represents highest attainable rate of the aerobic metabolism during the muscular work. The maximum oxygen consumption increases during the childhood, reaches peak during the adulthood, and then declines slowly with the age. The maximum oxygen consumption of a normal individual is limited by rate of the increase in the cardiac output and not by the ventilatory capacity or the oxygen diffusion capacity. This is underlined mark. This is objective question. The maximum oxygen consumption capacity of a normal individual is limited or is depends on dash. Its answer is cardiac output and not the ventilatory capacity or the diffusion capacity. As we are thinking of, it is related with the respiration, but the maximum oxygen consumption is depends on the cardiac output. Now the phases of the exercise. It is based on the oxygen uptake. It is divided into the 3 phases: adaptation phase, steady phase, and the recovery phase. In adaptation phase, That is the beginning of the muscular exercise. The oxygen consumption increases linearly and reaches the maximum oxygen consumption, that's VO2 max. The maximum oxygen consumption at this stage is much less than the oxygen demand. Thus, there occurs oxygen deficit.